Just one thing, can you send me in the chat the new name of the project, please?
And thank you so much again to Natalia and to Jessica for joining us. I will of course say, but honestly, you know, we had to adapt very quickly to changes, and hopefully we can do something when Jessica come back and still move on with the project. But thank you for adapting and for still allow us to be part of this. Muchas gracias, Jessica. Some people in Colombia is very, that I know, hopefully they will connect. Some people maybe want to speak English, but I guess.
So, but we're speaking English, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want us to turn off the cameras and put an image and then we will pop in when it begins?
Okay, super.
Okay, I'm going to let people in. Okay.
No, we're going to turn off. Yeah.
Stop your videos, everyone.
Stop videos.
And mute your microphone, please.
Prende la luna, se apaga el sol, me sale el diablo, me pongo sombrero y botas de tacón. Gira la llave, ruge el motor y nos vamos directo a las pulgas, mi compa Diego y yo. Aquí, seguimos aquí, perdidos en la línea del ir y venir. Este sueño fronterizo nos hace perder el piso, pero nada importa cuando esta noche la vamos a disfrutar. Porque sí, nos vamos a bailar. No hay manera de bajar la borrachera, por la regu y por la sexta nos besamos con cualquiera. No hay manera de no ir a la mezcalera, no hay manera. Aquí, seguimos aquí, perdidos en la línea del ir y venir. Nos hace perder el piso, pero nada importa cuando esta noche la vamos a disfrutar. Porque sí, vamos a bailar.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever in the world you're connecting with us. I'm Pablo Zacarias, and on behalf of Vancouver, I want to welcome you to the first live online activity of the Latin American experience. This expansion of Carnaval del Sol is now going across the Americas with a Colombian amazing artist that lives in Los Angeles. So we're moving forward with our spirit of keeping up with our activities. We thank you so much for being here. And today, this morning, we have Jessica Angel with a workshop, with a talk, with a conversation about art experience and blockchain. So I would like to welcome our General Director, Paola Murillo, to give the welcome of this activity. This is the schedule that we're going to have in the presentation. And welcome, Paola Murillo. You're muted, Paola.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Pablo, for the introduction, and very excited to be here. This is our one of our first event as a workshop. We already had our Latin American experience starting on July 15th, so it's very good now to be here with everyone. We're excited because this has been a quite different year for Vancouver, but we are finally creating, and this is why we're here, because we're going to be talking about creativity and how art and different way of thinking has saved many of us of stopping our projects. So I want to invite also Natalia from the Biennale. Natalia, she is the program director, and we're going to have her presenting at Jessica Angel. And when we start talking to Natalia and the Vancouver Biennale, how we can do this project, how, you know, that was almost a year ago when I actually met Jessica Angel when she was here in Vancouver. And it was very, for us, like, oh, we're going to maybe have this big party where we can invite and put everything on the Cambridge Bridge, and let's try to talk how Jessica is going to be talking with all the different processes. So we have all these big dreams, and I was very grateful that the Vancouver Biennale invited Vancouver to actually join this project and be able to be this platform to highlight Jessica. So I want to say thank you to Vancouver Biennale and Natalia for working with us. I want to invite Natalia now into, you know, so she can put her camera on too. But I think that this is a great opportunity for us, thank you, Natalia, yes, that we are going to have here and start reintroducing the project that, for what I understand, is going to happen. So this is not happening for Vancouver, it's actually will happening, but let's just move it to later date. So Natalia Lebedinsky, I hope I pronounced okay your last name. If you don't mind to now, I give you the space for introducing the project, and also Jessica. Muchas gracias again. Thank you very much for trusting Vancouver and our organization, our team. And I take the opportunity to also thank all our volunteers and our amazing team that is working extremely hard to make this happen under these unprecedented times as well.
Muchas gracias, Paola. Thank you so much for the introduction. So I'm Natalia Lebedinskaya. You got my name quite right. I'm the program director here at the Vancouver Biennale in Vancouver. And I've been working on various iterations of this project with Jessica from actually before I even started my position here 2 years ago, where I started receiving information about, oh, this project is coming, and now it has taken a few different iterations and has landed under the bridge. And I'm very excited to have Jessica here today talk about it, and hopefully also address some of the other extensions for this as we navigate this strange new world where we can't quite go have a party under a bridge, but we can do all the things online that look forward to it. So Jessica is a Colombian artist. She's based in New York. She has been at the forefront of the intersection of art and blockchain. She's taught us all about the blockchain and art movement, but also has explained blockchain to us. I think I kind of knew about it, but never really understood it. And I feel like now I can actually talk about it to other people, which seems remarkable. So I hope that she'll go into some more detail about that to those of us who are still mystified by it. The strength of her work is really in linking physical space and digital space. So I couldn't think of a better project to bring in at this moment in time where both public space and digital space have really shot to the forefront, where we now have dinner parties on Zoom and can safely go and have a picnic with people we haven't seen in months. And this movement between the way that we think about the public has really moved into the digital space as well. So I'm really excited about this project. I'm excited about the potential it can bring. The primary deterrent for us to start installing in this very minute is the closed border to the US. So as soon as it is safe to travel, Jessica will arrive here and put it up. And I can't wait to see it in person, but I also can't wait to see all the various digital iterations of it that are coming up. So Jessica, over to you. Where are you? Stop it.
Thank you again to both of you.
So Jessica, you can unmute yourself.
Hey, do you hear me? Hello,
Yeah.
do you hear me?
We hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
Yes, we do.
Thanks everybody for being here. I'm really excited to tell you about this beautiful project that I'm putting together with the Biennale. I have been sort of navigating different waves with the Biennale basically since 2014 when I met the team. And finally, we're managing to realize it, even with the hurdles that we're finding in our way right now this year, 2020. So I'm just going to give you a fairly high-level overview of this process. I have been working with the intersection of technology, art, and science. I'm really interested in philosophy, and I'm really interested in making connections between these forms of knowledge and using art as the catalyzer to put them together and put them out into the world and for people to access and sort of ask these questions that are important for me. In my early connections with the Biennale, I was proposing to work in the subway, or not the subway, the air train system, and creating connections between the neighborhoods and using the concept of connecting. And then that merged into, okay, this merging sort of attempts have to do with how the internet works, and really interested in making parallels between things that are really small and that are really big, things that are science related with art related, and finding kind of junctions between things that may seem dissimilar. So the internet, for example, has been something that I've been working with. The idea of information, the idea of the flow of information. I was trying to compare that to the train. And so that's how we got started, with very ambitious proposals, by the way. And then things moved forward into my interaction with the blockchain space that started in 2017, because the works that I create take over spaces, walls, ceilings, and I create these immersive environments that bring you, the audience, to sort of have these disorienting sensations with the reality. These pieces are made using adhesive vinyl, sometimes wallpapering and drawing on walls and floors. And they generally represent these sort of chimerical, fantastic landscapes, as if you could dive into the world of information and go sightseeing. I started with the blockchain space in 2017 because of these installations that I make. And Jason Teutsch, a person who works in blockchain with this project, saw the work and he said, I would love to commission an artwork from you that represents the connection between two blockchains. So I started my journey there, and I'm still working now with blockchain and art and installation art, and making these parallels between this digital world of blockchain, which is a little bit different than thinking of the internet. So blockchain is being called now Web 3. So Web 2 would be the internet as we know it, with apps on our phones and apps on our computers like Zoom. And then Web 1 would be when the internet didn't have any apps that would let us interact, but it was already a network. So what does Web 3 mean? It means that you have all the usabilities of Web 2, but it adds on the potential for the digital information that we're sharing to become scarce. What does that mean? That a package of information could basically be unique and different from others. And that's why we know about Bitcoin. It allows for digital scarcity, and it allows for information to have this intrinsic value that it didn't have before. So I entered the art and blockchain space as kind of like a way to use art to be able to represent these things and make them available for people to at least get a first sense, a first approach. So moving forward with the Biennale, with this new sort of research that I got into, we decided to move forward with the idea of technology, but bring the blockchain space into it. So the South Canby Street Bridge, the south side of the bridge, where the underpass is our canvas. And we're gonna take over the 600-foot long pathway, 180 meters. We have 11 columns. The average height of all the columns is about 24 feet high, super, super tall. And we're just gonna transform it for the city of Vancouver to dive in and have this sightseeing as if they were going around the blockchain space. So I don't know if you guys have any questions, Paola or Natalia, or if Danny, if you want to ask me anything in regards to this, or if I should move forward, or you want to bring anything in.
I have a question for you,
Yes.
Jessica. When you talk about digital scarcity, how does this relate to art in particular? Like how this component of scarcity takes place?
That's a great question. So for the first time ever, it is possible for digital art to be unique. Even though you can take a screenshot of an image, let's say you post your digital art on Instagram, and then everybody sees it, and then everybody can copy it, and everybody can have it on their phones. And then the big question is, how am I able to sell this if everybody has it, right? And I think that's been the big struggle that digital art has had in terms of making it to the art market. For the first time ever, you can use the digital scarcity provided by the blockchain that uses cryptography to attach an image and assign it cryptographically to a token, okay? So that token has the information of the image. It's called a hash. When you send an image on an email, it turns into data, and it travels its data, and then the other computer sort of decodes the data and shows you the image. So that data is put into a computational package that is called a block. And then that block is decentralized, meaning that information inside the block does not belong to a centralized server like, let's say, Facebook, that all your photos on Facebook live on Facebook servers. So if, say, Facebook wants to delete them, Facebook can totally delete them. With decentralized networks like blockchain networks, the information package kind of goes through and spreads in this network of nodes where there are copies of it everywhere. And obviously there's a cryptographic process of validating that information replicating in the network. And that's where mining and all that stuff comes from that you hear about in, when you hear about blockchain or Bitcoin, or the generating of tokens. Is the the generation of a token is when the package is successfully copied and validated. So digital scarcity appears for the first time. I can create an image that has a hash number that is attached to a block, that it is unique. I cannot replicate that, and many people have the same one. That's called a non-fungible token. That one token is not the same as another, it's unique. So there's a lot of technicalities behind it, but the idea is basically that for the first time, digital art can be scarce in code. And so there's a new sort of wave of collectors and artists and platforms that use blockchain to sell digital art. They're called marketplaces, crypto art marketplaces. And it's become fairly easy for artists who make digital art to upload their art on those platforms and generate revenue from it.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. My role in this art and blockchain space is a little bit different than the tokenization, that's the name, tokenization of digital art. Because I'm not a digital artist, so I don't take that much, I can't use it as much. I'm still exploring how to make installation art sort of options for tokenization. When you see the art of Sol LeWitt, for example, and you see how he's able to sell a mural, it would go along those lines. You can create a package of instructions. That's what Sol LeWitt would do, and sell the package. So for installation art, we could come up with ways of generating revenue from things like an installation art. It could be possible. So yeah, do you want me to talk a little more about the project perhaps? Does anybody have a question that you want to bring forth?
There's a question from Javier, from Pina. Well, there's similar. There's Pina says, what are the most popular blockchain platforms to sell art?
So there are many. The main one that's the most popular one is called Super Rare. They have been around for about 2 years now. And they just hit a big step. They have artists in their platform in totality have already earned, there's been $1 million sort of spread on for artists. And then what's interesting about this is that this works with something called smart contracts, which means that there are a set of instructions and rules before you create the platform, for example, Super Rare. So artist royalties, for example, are included. So secondary sales will always, by code, give the artist a 10% of the sale, for example. So there's Super Rare. There's another one called Known Origin. These two whitelist artists, so you have to send a submission and then get accepted. And it's becoming increasingly more popular. And so they have a lot more artists now. So I hear of a lot of people that are being denied. But there are newer platforms like Rarible. It's called Rarible. there is one called async, which I'm really interested in. Async, ASYNC .art. It means a synchronistic, it comes from there. And it has to do with, you can own parts of the artwork. So one artwork has different layers, and then each layer is a token. So you are the owner of a section of the work. And then it's programmable art in the sense that in their smart contract, you as the owner can change the color of the piece or create some sort of motion. These are things that the artist sort of previously put in the smart contract. Of course, it's not like anybody can change it in any way. There are a couple of options that you can play with. So that's interesting. But my point where I want to get, I'm really happy that this is happening in the art world for artists, digital artists, to be able to monetize with their digital art, and that there's so much excitement around it. In my practice with this world, I'm doing something kind of from the opposite side of this equation, which is generally like, what is the blockchain doing for artists, or like how blockchain can bring artists, ways of perhaps being more detached from the general gallery, third party or like gatekeeper, because that's the ethos of blockchain, is that for me to send you money, I don't need a bank. It's called peer-to-peer. I can send you and receive, and the mathematics behind it, the cryptography, it's called trustless computation, because I don't need to trust you to be able to send the money or know you even, and know that it's gonna work. So my practice in the space comes from the other side, which is not what blockchain can do for me, but what I can do with art for blockchain. How can I use my art to bring this technology forward, which I truly believe in, passionately believe in, and how can art be a tool or an enabler of the technology, because art has this potential for experimentation, which is the nature of it. And I want to play with that, play with the nature of art that brings experiments, like a lab of blockchain and art, and bring the blockchain to the people so they learn about it. And there are many projects in the blockchain space, like TrueBit, the one that I told you that commissioned this first piece, who see the value in art as a bridge to people, which they call the no coiners, because they don't have crypto. So it's just like, how can we use aesthetics? How can we use beauty? How can we use creativity to spread the word about this wonderful technology that is almost as, I would say, revolutionary as the internet itself. We still don't know how important it is, because it's not taken off completely, but in my opinion, I think it has a strong potential of changing the way that we interact and exchange, from whether it is art or coins or whatever. So the bridge that we're putting together, Voxel Bridge, is going to play with these projects that have a technology, and we're going to try and fit those projects, see how can this blockchain bridge can bring visuals of what's happening in the actual virtual space of the blockchain. So we're using augmented reality technology once it's up, and allow for people to see through their phones sort of other layers of data behind it. So there's a lot that we're interested in doing. And the idea of this bridge is for it to be this platform for collaborations, for interaction, for participation, for gathering, and just make sure that the space becomes a space, like a hub for new things to come, unexpected collaborations, and that's probably what we're doing with Vancouver here today. I see some questions. Do you think we should take some questions? How are we doing with time?
I think we're good. If you want to take a couple of more questions.
Let's see. This bridge looks amazing. Yes, looking forward to seeing it. How do you think your art and blockchain project can impress people? I think I'm interested in playing with high impact sort of ways of producing art, really bright colors. I play with perspective. I play with visual illusions, anamorphisms in ways that your visual experience of the work sort of drives you in. So we'll take advantage of those tools to make sure that it is impressive. What kinds of art can usually sell? That's a good question. So on these platforms, the art is generally very techie oriented and super rare. I was just going to tell you about the $1 million. And they outline the number of artworks, and it's roughly each one of the images is $150, which is really not bad for, you know, a digital art piece. Yes, drawings. There's music. Actually, there's this question, Javier. There are three-dimensional. You can buy three-dimensional objects, and that's interesting for the future of, let's say, virtual reality worlds are taking a big leap. Obviously, also this year when we're social distancing, using our computers to interact and gather online. So virtual reality worlds are skyrocketing right now. There's an interesting one called crypto voxels that it's blockchain based, so you can buy land in crypto voxels and you're the owner of a parcel. The same with Decentraland as well. Digital art can be scarce, yes. What does that mean? So it means that it is escaso would be the word. There's only one. You can say there's only one of them. Even though and it's hard to get your mind around that idea that an image that you can take a photo, a screenshot is scarce. It doesn't sound like it's scarce because everybody has it. What's scarce is the fact that there's a one and sole owner of it. Does it also mean tokens can be applied to music? Yes, they can be applied to music, absolutely. And the music industry is using tokens a lot, and the gaming industry is the one that is pushing the boundaries, because in gaming there's a large community, and in gaming there's a lot of use for objects. Oh, I have a game and I need a gun, whatever it is, and you can buy it and it is scarce. Or they can say there's only 5 of these guns and 5 people buy them, and they gain value over time. The more scarce, the more valuable, right? So what are the most popular blockchain platforms? Yes, I guess I have covered most of the questions.
Natalia from the Biennale asks if you could talk a little bit more about how you're involving other artists in the project.
Yes, that's great. So initially we wanted to bring the bridge this summer to Vancouver, and given how things are unfolding this year, we moved it for next year, probably the spring when the weather is nice, so we can install in the spring. So in sort of to continue with the momentum that we already have, we're putting together a virtual arts festival that is going to take place in September. So we're still in the process of making it public. So you'll hear about it. So a lot of artists will be, related to the project. And in the physical art, the physical bridge, what we want to do is use augmented reality technologies to showcase the art of others in the columns or in the sections. The reason why the design has a lot of sort of open squares is because I was thinking about these as potential sort of screens for other things to happen. So we're going to be working on a sort of selection process, and inviting other artists to collaborate and take over the space and fill it up with new forms of digital art in the public space. And I'm really, really excited about thinking of the public realm in the digital space. We think about the public space, you know, the public plaza, the public square, which was, you know, the agora in other times. It's like the place where we meet, where we discuss, where we talk about how the society should work, right? Well, this new public square is not the public square that, you know, is in the center of the city. The new public square is taking place online. It's Facebook, it's Twitter, right? So we have these parallels I see between public space, physical public space, this public space that Biennale is working on top of. And there's this other new public space that I think I'm excited to bring the Biennale and help the Biennale branch into this sort of underworld of the digital space and an open room to also explore this other public space. So the voxel bridge is also going to be uploaded online as a VR piece, so everybody in the world can come and join and see it. Sneak peek, could we? Yes, so Pablo, do you think we should continue with questions? Is there anything, how are we doing with the program? I don't have it in
the program now is is the part of the workshop part, and now that you've said this reflection,
yes,
we will be breaking out in breakout rooms.
Great, yes.
So that everyone can get to discuss and meet one another and kind of reflect.
Yeah.
But you had an amazing question, an amazing topic that you wanted to put forward.
Yes, so I have one topic that has to do with creativity, which I believe we want to focus on that here today, and the reality. You know, we almost think that the imagination is one world and reality is another world. Creativity is this almost virtual space in our minds, this imaginary space that it has room for many forms and shapes. And then there's reality, which is not only physical, but there are social contexts and these other forms that are reality that are as abstract almost as things in our ideas, in our heads. So I like to think of art as this, this sort of a sponge that absorbs all these things, and it can sort of materialize the things that we see in reality. So I guess the reflection that I want to bring forward to you is how do you think creativity can address the realities of the outside world? I guess as an exercise, it would make sense to just pick one subject from reality, you know, up to you. In my practice right now, that subject of reality is that blockchain is being developed. And then with my creative power, I'm using that idea and shaping this visualization and putting it out there. So I think the exercise would be, think of one subject. It would be nice if it has something to do with technology, but it doesn't. And then come up with a witty idea on how this real concept can be expressed creatively. Does that sound like a fun thing?
Yeah, let's move forward. So you're all gonna be split up in rooms now, and you might be lucky to have Jessica in your room. Okay, so let's go. So you've been asked to join your breakout room, so please do. So you got an invitation to be part of a breakout room. If you're still here, please join the breakout room. If you have any problem, let me know in the chat, but you should be part of a breakout room right now.
And Pablo, also you can maybe send the topic again to the break rooms.
Hold on a second. For those of you who are still here, you have to join the breakout rooms. That's where the activity is continuing. If you have any problem, it's the same as we're doing right here. Let me go to breakout room 1. Hi everyone. For those of you who are still who are here and couldn't make it to the breakout rooms, we're just gonna wait for the people who are there. So thanks for sticking out, and we'll continue with the workshop. Thank you.
We're back. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone will start heading back to the room. Everyone, welcome back. I hope you had a good experience. And Jessica, if you want to take the microphone again and tell us what.
Yes, this has been very super fun, by the way. I'm having a great time. Yes, so how many how many rooms did we have?
We had around 4.
Cool.
If you want, do you want me to allow everyone to participate? Do you want to?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So
I joined the room 2, but maybe if anyone from the room 1 wants to share what it is that you discussed.
Yeah, like, hey, share your experience. You can unmute yourselves now. So if
Okay.
you want to speak, feel free to do so.
And anyone from room 1 wants to jump in?
Room 1, we started from room 2 because room 1.
Oh, okay.
Empty,
Okay, so
yeah.
I was at room 2.
Yeah,
So I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Great.
We were saying, how can creativity be used as the sponge that takes the shape that we give it, soaking up the stuff from reality, and how can we make it something? And I flew to Linda. Linda, what could come up with a subject? And she said, well, maybe more of a problem. How can we, in the COVID time, connect and break the isolation without having Zoom overload? Basically, without having so much Zoom, because it becomes overwhelming, right? And some ideas came up. I was saying, well, it just takes me back to just sending smoke signals to each other. How about we use sound and music? Did you guys see in Italy, people were playing instruments in their balconies, and there's like this sort of community gathering like that. Like, that's interesting, and that's actually artistic, very artistic. And then QR codes were mentioned, how to create a way, maybe in the public space, walking around the city, this sort of board where we can connect through either QR codes or messages that are on a public board. And I think that's something that we will actually be exploring in the bridge, where you will find QR codes in the 11 columns, and you'll be able to connect with other things as well there. So that's what room 2 was about.
Great. How was the other room? Anyone want to share what the conversation, how it went in your room?
I can. Room 3.
Hi, Alana. From room
Hi.
3.
I'm trying to get my head wrapped around this idea of space. And I'm wondering, in the description, it talked about, there was a talk about language and culture. And I work as an art therapist with people without English. And I'm wondering if Jessica, you see within this space the ability to co-create, to collaborate within this space in such a way that that as artists we respond to each other's work, grow something. See, I'm trying to understand, like, the public square idea. I love it. But can this happen within this space, this virtual space, so that something is created collaboratively?
That's great. Alana, you reminded me of a beautiful project, data.nyc, and they're also related to blockchain. They're doing blockchain things. That's why I know them. Their platform is really beautiful. It's kind of a social platform. They have a great deal of users, and it's a visual conversation. It's this reel of drawings, and then you bring a drawing into the platform, and then it stays there, and somebody else takes your drawing and continues it, and it becomes what they call visual conversations. It's really beautiful. And then what they're doing is selecting from this array of drawings, which is many drawings, thousands of drawings, but they're all connected. There's a sort of linearly connected. And they're taking sections and they're tokenizing those, and they sell them as digital art. So that definitely, yeah, it's like an exquisite corpse. That's correct. But when you say space, Alana, you mentioned space. Were you thinking about space as the digital space, or you were thinking about the space that you share with someone in a room? Or I wasn't sure what you were mentioning, because you talked about the workspace as well.
I'm not a digital artist. I still like my canvas, and my paper, and
yes, me too.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this idea of digital space, and the opportunities that it affords, you know, a visual artist, you know, and also the opportunities it affords for collaborative endeavors. I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah. Hi. Hello. Hello.
Hi, Danny. We can hear you.
Oh, hi. Yes, hello, everyone. I'm also having a hard time, not a hard time, maybe language. It's the tricky part. Space to me, not accordingly. No, I'm just having a hard time with the language. I'm sorry, you guys. It's not my first language, English, but the thinking process of space and art combined with digital. What I'm trying to say is there a way that we can help people in this public space, or that it's going to be created, a way to feel energy through the images, or to, does that make any sense? Yeah, I know. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Barry or Natalia would be great to respond that question, coming from the art and connection world. While I think Jessica's having some technical issues because she disappeared. So
no, that's okay. But it could be incredibly transformed, a way to communicate in public. Gosh, that's what I'm trying to say. It's having that will have impact in society, and to bring that technology so close to, it's almost like an interaction from my phone to the space around me and my thoughts, and it's kind of like I can see it happen, but I'm having a hard time just to get my message across. And yes, I hope.
Danny, I think it's because all of us are trying to figure that out kind of simultaneously. And I think partly it's because we don't actually quite have the language that bridges the two quite yet, like in general. And that's why, I mean, partly that's why we do what we do in public art with the Vancouver Biennale. We try to kind of create these spaces that then inspire certain types of interaction that, and then like kind of transform the city in a certain way to like make people relate to each other and, in different ways, right? Like kind of beyond and across language. So they are in essence in dialogue with each other, even if they never see each other. So like, Danya, are you in Vancouver?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So like if you think about the arcs, for example, on Sunset Beach, in a way, everyone who has been in those and has like kind of inhabited them over the years is in dialogue with each other. It's just that dialogue is invisible. And
But I can see it does
Yeah.
it's tangible. If you create using technology, it's very, very tangible.
exactly. So right now we're kind of in this challenge of how do we then, can we use technology to kind of augment that existing physical interaction and dialogue that exists there without replacing it, right? Like, so we've been really interested in augmented reality technologies. We've been interested in AI. We did a VR project that kind of played on that as well. But I think augmented reality is something that is like kind of a growing field, and Vancouver is one of the key centers for it, and like internationally.
I am so glad that we're having this conversation, and so glad that I tuned in, because when I read about it, I couldn't understand what the project was. And now we're having this conversation. It seems so it's coming together, and it's a wonderful thing for artists, because I'm sorry about the noise. Sorry. I forgot to close the windows. So sorry.
No worries, too hot.
Because it would be so helpful, especially in times that we're living right now. I was just talking to, I'm sorry, I don't want to push the conversation aside, but we as an artist, we were having a hard time to express ourselves in this lockdown. And there was a lot of time to think about possibilities, but of what can we do? I see a lot of people, what can you do? But digitally, we can do so much more. Yes, it's incredible. I'm just grateful to be here.
Thanks, Danny. Thank you. We're all grateful that you all are here. Thanks for being part of this. Unfortunately, the time is running out. We have to close this conversation that has been pretty amazing. And I thanks to all of those who turned on your cameras and those who didn't, but thanks for sticking out. So Jessica, let's move forward.
Yes, definitely. So I guess there's always room for feedback on the community, on the end of the Vancouver community. I'm always eager to learn about what you guys are doing, and you never know. I mean, we may potentially be doing something, or, collaborating or participating. We'll, this is about making of the process sort of a teaching experience, and to making of the event, a space for everybody. So you're all welcome.
Yeah. And shameless plug. So Danny, I realized that you, when I was talking about all of these interactions, we actually have an event coming up from Vancouver Biennale that kind of does in a way what you're talking about. So we're doing a bike and alley, walk and alley event that initially was going to be like a group cycling ride that would be guided between Vancouver Biennale installations and different points in the city. But obviously, as a result of COVID, we had to figure out a way to do it differently. So right now it's going to be entirely like virtually guided, and it's going to be over a course of 6 weeks, so 6 Sundays. So I'm going to put the link in the chat, and you should all register and explore it. Jessica might have a small surprise installation as part of this.
Oh, that's wonderful.
A teaser.
A teaser, exactly. A teaser into the vortex.
That is great, because I am in.
Oh, nice.
So that's
okay. Good. Okay. Do I have this right?
I'm gonna add my email here too, if anybody wants to get in touch.
Yeah, let's do resource share, like a resource and contact information.
Yeah, we have a list from all the people who registered, so we can send them. If you want to do like a selection of information that you want us to send over, we can do that, Jessica, if you want.
Okay.
That'll be easier if you. And I think we're moving forward. We're closing in, and I wanna take this opportunity to just, for those of you who came in late, I just want to brief who Jessica Angel is. She's an amazing artist born in Colombia, but based in New York City. She has a leading role in the art and blockchain movement, where while managing a community of artists, programmers, and technology enthusiasts, she encourages the use of blockchain technologies for the production and funding of ambitious art pieces. During a 3-month residency in conjunction with the University of Alabama at Birmingham Department of Art and Art History, Angel created a site-specific installation in the Abrams Angel Institute, and that was 9,000 square feet. So that was pretty amazing. And well, Jessica, it's great to have you here. It's great for you to be part of our activities, and thanks to the Vancouver Biennale for partnering to bring in and make this amazing workshop happen. And of course, you know that Carnaval del Sol and Latincuber it's a nonprofit organization. So if you like this, if you like what we're doing, if you like to support Latino artists across the continent, but especially in the Vancouver area, please help us out. Please make your donations. We're going to put the link in the chat. So that's something worth mentioning. As a nonprofit organization, we really appreciate your support, and thanks for the Biennale and Jessica for being here. And these are the following events that we have as part of the Latin American experience that we do every year.
Thank you so much, Pablo.
No, thanks, Natalia, and thanks, Paola and Jessica, of course, and Gabby, who made this happen, Gabriela Pizzaia. And if there's anything you would like to add before we call it a day and go out and play.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Jessica, Natalia, everybody. Really, it was amazing. It was amazing to hear more about your project, yourself. Really, I'm so glad that we are making this together. And I hope that next year we can do something together as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Barry, for being here. Our executive director for the Biennale, Vancouver Biennale. And we hope to continue working and uniting platforms and plazas. Muchas gracias.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Muchas gracias.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.